Hi, my name is Rina, and today you are gonna watch me try pastels for the first time. So I just jumped right into it, since it was a New Year's art resolution of mine to try and give pastels a chance. And that's just what I did today, and it is something that I do not regret trying out. So firstly, I just want to tell you what materials I've used. Maybe you are someone who has done pastels before yourself, maybe you haven't. I just wanted to tell you anyways what I used. It's a while ago actually that I bought myself the 72 set of koh-i-noor hard muth Toisen door soft pastels. I probably butchered that name. And also the Conte A Paris pastel pencils. I probably butchered that too. And also I used a pastel paper from Panduro. I don't think that is available internationally, but it is here in Scandinavia at least. And the paper was black. I have never... I'm gonna think about that for a second. No, I have never drawn on black paper before. I have bought black paper to draw on, but I haven't drawn on it. So that was interesting. Basically, I had never tried pastels before. These are soft pastels, not oil pastels. So there's a big difference between that. But I decided to watch a couple of videos on painting/drawing with pastels before I started. I have watched some videos on it before, and that was what piqued my interest in it. But I sat down to learn basically how you do it. And it's not very difficult, really. I bet there is a lot of techniques that artists that have done this for a long while use that I didn't use, but I feel like I got a good overview of like the main techniques for at least beginners, so that's a good thing. So since I never had done it before, I didn't have like really any equipment for it, but I saw that a lot of artists were just blending soft pastels with their fingers, so I decided to do that. I'm not one who likes my fingers dirty, but I had a washcloth very close by, so I could just wash off my fingers whenever I wanted. I also saw some tips about using, for example, Q-tips and cotton swabs for blending, so I tried that. And also I've seen people use those plastic or silicone, I don't know, clay shapers for blending. So I tried that too, and each of the different materials I used for blending worked quite differently. For example, the pastel paper is very rough in texture, so it's a lot of bumps and dumps in the paper, and when I used my fingers to blend, that covered quite well the bumps, but it didn't do it all the way. So I found that the best way to kind of blend so the black holes in the paper didn't show was with the clay shaper, but that one also blended very harshly the colors together, so they actually mixed on the paper instead of just going over one another. I don't know how to explain that, but so they had different qualities, and I have to say that I preferred using my fingers actually. So the only downside to that is that my fingers were filled with pigments. Every little crevice underneath the nails, and everything is just so dirty. Even washing my hands afterward didn't really remove it all, but oh well, that's just how it is, I guess. So I have had this piece in my mind for a very long time, that I wanted to do this with soft pastels. And this is a sketch that I drew in my first sketchbook a while ago, while I was very into drawing people with animal characteristics. I drew a girl with an what are those called? The light antenna of an anglerfish. And what I really wanted to do with this piece was to play around with light and shadows. So I thought that maybe pastels would be the perfect medium for that. Like instead of, for example, watercolors or markers, because you can layer lighter colors over the darker colors, and I really liked that about this. This was a plan that I had, I think, for almost a year, that I wanted to do this, but I never got around to do it. So finally I did just decide to jump in it, and it was a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. I had so much fun with this piece, and I almost couldn't put it away. And that's the best feeling, like when I get so into what I'm doing that I forget the time and place. So that's what's happened with this piece. So really, really, I'm excited to play more with pastels. I'm definitely gonna do that. Definitely, because I have everything I need to do it also. So there's nothing really stopping me. So if you're a beginner and you really want to try pastels, I would really recommend you to try it out, because it's so fun to play with. It's a little hard to control, like you don't get as fine as an edge with pastels. For that, I would definitely recommend also getting some pastel pencils. That didn't make it for me, like I didn't get to put really, really fine details, but I may believe that is the paper's fault because it's so rough. I really want to try out different kinds of pastel paper to see if there's something else that I prefer. And I don't know, do you have to use pastel paper for pastels? Because I know that there is smart to use a paper with a lot of texture, but I feel like there's also something called too much texture. So I don't know. I'll do some more research on that. And basically, I think that the next time I place an order at Jackson's, I will try out some of the test packs that they have to see if I find some paper that I like. So, if you haven't tried pastels and you really want to, I've kind of put together like the basic what you need to try to start. I would recommend having at least 24 soft pastel colors just for starters, because it's really good to have a range of colors with this, but you can also blend to a certain extent, so you don't need like all the colors. Maybe you would want that after a while, but it's not really, really necessary in the beginning. And also, if you want to do detailed work, I would definitely recommend getting a small set of pastel pencils, maybe only 12. That will get you some of the way, because I didn't nearly use as much colors with my pastel pencils as I did with my soft pastels. For paper, I cannot really recommend what you should use, but if you're not sure that you like using soft pastels, I would definitely just get something that is not very expensive. And if you like it, you can go expensive later. And also the last thing that I really recommend getting if trying pastels are a fixative. And there's a little funny story about fixative on this one, because when I sprayed the fixative on this piece, I thought I was going to die because the piece turned almost black, and I bet that that is because I used black paper, and when you spray it, it turns darker, like for a moment. So I thought I ruined my piece, but what happened is that it lightened up again after, like while it was drying, but it is darker than before I sprayed it. So if you're going for a very specific color, I think that you should try out colors and spray them with fixative before you make a full piece, because maybe you should make the piece a little lighter than you originally thought. I don't know. That's something that we have to test out, I guess. But yeah, this was my first try with pastels. It was really fun. I definitely want to play around more with them and try some different kinds of papers, try different colors of papers, and just experiment more with what I do, like landscapes or more portraits, animal portraits, different things, maybe buildings even. Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing with pastels this year, and oh my god, I have so many mediums now that I don't even know where to begin, but I just love trying out all the different things. And maybe you, after watching this, want to try it yourself. I don't know. Have a lovely weekend or week, and I'll see you next week. Bye!